Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcast 77 WABC. The hate has to stop. Police say the mass shooting at the Tops supermarket in Buffalo was a racist hate crime. 10 killed, 3 wounded. This is my podcast. Let's go. The Buffalo mass shooting. The 18-year-old suspect, dressed in tactical gear, and of his victims, they were mostly African-American at the Tops supermarket. The suspect, 18 years old, with so much hate in his heart, drove from the upstate Binghamton area several hours to get to Buffalo. Apparently, his theory that white people are being replaced. President Biden, reacting, says we must work together to address the hate. And that is true as it relates to all of us. It's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a Latino thing. It's not an Asian American thing. It is all of us. But please keep in mind, this is also a mental illness thing. This situation is so horrific. Biden did the right thing traveling to Buffalo with the First Lady.
We must all work together to address the hate that remains a stain on the soul of America. The hearts are heavy once again, but a resolve must never ever waver.
The hate must stop. But there was also the Orange County, California church shooting. 1 dead, multiple people injured. Let me move on. The world we live in these days, listen, I want things to run smoothly in our great country. But Congressman Michael Waltz of Florida seemed to sum up where things currently stand.
In Joe Biden's America, it seems like it's easier to get a crack pipe in a government-funded smoking kit than it is to find baby formula. I'm a new father of a 4-month-old. And the other piece is that this crisis has been brewing for months. Since my 4-month-old has been born, I've had my entire family across 4 states scouring shelves looking for formula for which he is dependent to survive.
I really do want every U.S. president to succeed, each and every one, party label aside. But it's just not working under President Joe Biden. Democrats are headed for a bad day with the midterms, expected to lose the House and possibly the Senate. I still believe Biden is not running for re-election in 2024. You knew this was coming. The debate over abortion is only intensifying.
We will not go back. I see you, buddy. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
Protests continuing in the New York tri-state area, around the country, and outside the homes of U.S. Supreme Court justices. That part, protesting outside the homes of the justices, is dead wrong. Protest outside the Supreme Court 24 hours a day if you want to, if you decide to. But the justices and their families are entitled to some privacy and security where they reside. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm pro-choice. But this abortion-related item isn't sitting too well with me. Democrats in New York are pushing to establish a fund, millions of taxpayer money, to pay for what is expected to be a surge of abortions in New York State. And here is the catch. Women coming from other states that have restrictions in their states traveling to New York for an abortion, that would be covered, but also to cover the cost of abortions for migrants People that are not even U.S. citizens? Give me a break. Here was State Attorney General Letitia James and Andrea Miller, the president of the National Institute for Reproductive Health.
Every person in this nation should have the freedom to control their own body. Bans will not stop abortions. Bans will only stop safe abortions.
No one should have to travel hundreds, if not thousands of miles to get an abortion. But if they do, they need to know that New York is here for them.
Okay, let's move on. New York City Mayor Eric Adams made some good points recently. One, I love the fact that under a pilot program Adams has started, New York City public school kids will be tested for dyslexia. The mayor says he didn't find out he was suffering from dyslexia until he couldn't do the academic work in high school. The second area where Adams was on point, if you will, happens to be on crime and defending our police officers. What do you do when the NYPD are making the arrests, but because of the laws passed by the politicians in Albany, the criminals are let right back out? Now, I know this is symbolic, so please don't shoot the messenger. But Adams says he patrols the subways almost every night.
It's no secret to anyone that just about every other night I'm in the subway system. You know, because if you don't inspect what you expect, it's all suspect. The commissioner speaks with me every morning. Every morning. She updates our team. She speaks with me. Then on the weekend, Sunday, the commissioner and I have a briefing of new things we want to do, how we're going to shift things around. We are in constant contact. We know public safety is a prerequisite to prosperity. We're zero in on it and we're focused.
The mayor also, rightly so, questions where is the support for the police.
I feel like I'm in an alternate reality. We're probably the only civilized country that sends their troops into battle and then criticize them every day. So we do. That father and son-in-law, future son-in-law, in spite of all that we say about them, they go out there again with the uncertainty of coming home. And all we do is criticize them. That's all we do. I don't hear any good stories about the men and women who are protecting us from the bad people. No one is talking about that.
So can we ever put an end to the revolving, dysfunctional door of the criminal justice system? The answer is yes, but you have to turn out and vote like your life depends on it, because it does. What's funny, or rather ironic, going back to President Biden, is the only time President Biden seems to have any energy. And again, I give him credit for going to Buffalo for the mass shooting. But Biden does not want to talk about his own failures. In fact, President Biden is only interesting when talking about Donald Trump. The president's new talking point is calling Trump the MAGA king.
Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king, the deficit increased every single year he was president. The first year of my presidency, I reduced the deficit, literally reduced the deficit by $350 billion. First year.
And so Biden blames inflation on COVID-19, on Putin, on anybody, everybody but himself. It was a lively week on Broadway with Tony and Grammy Award winner Patti Lupone. I still don't know how I would have responded to this. After asking a couple of audience members during a talk on stage after her Broadway show company to wear their mask properly, Lupone, who previously had COVID-19, cursed out the fans who ignored her request. She had repeatedly asked two people in the theater to pull their mask above their noses.
Just keep feeling right next door. Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the theater. That is the rule. If you don't want to follow the rule, get the out. Serious. Who do you think you are if you do not respect the people that are sitting around you? You pay my salary. Bull. Chris Harper pays my salary. Excuse me. Who do you think you are? Can we have... Just put your mask over your nose.
And so the question becomes, how would you respond to that attack from Patti Lupone? I close with this. A trial date has been set for former New York Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin. Benjamin resigned last month after being indicted on federal bribery and conspiracy charges. His trial is now set for January of next year. Folks, if you are interested in my book on my life growing up in New York City and overcoming numerous obstacles, or maybe even my bobblehead doll, you can go to my website, DominicCarterOnline.com, all one word with no period, Dominic Carter Online, then a period.com. You can catch me on 77 WABC weeknights, midnight to 1 a.m. Go check out the Dominic Carter merchandise as well at the 77 WABC store, from Dominic Carter t-shirts to hats and much more. Go to WABCRadiostore.com. I will see you the next time right here. Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcast, 77 WABC.